Today we're going to talk about circles and conic sections. So when we talk about conic sections, we are talking about two cones that are on top of one another. And the shapes, if we cut it with a rectangular piece of paper, what they form. So the first one we are going to talk about is circles. A circle is the set of all points in a plane that are a fixed distance, called the radius, from a fixed point, called the center. The radius we refer to as the line from the center to a point on the circle. The point on the circle is an ordered pair x, y, and the center of our circle is a point h, k. The equation of a circle with the center at hk and the radius r units is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So this equation you must memorize. Example number 1 says write the equation given the center and the radius. So we know our equation is x minus h squared. So we have a positive 3, so we can write x minus 3 squared plus y, a negative, and a negative change to a plus 2 squared, and r squared equals 25, so we set it equal to 25, and we just wrote the equation of this circle. Example number 2 tells us that the center is at -1, -5, and our radius is at 2 square root of 3. So we are going to take x plus 1 squared, y plus 5 squared, and when you distribute 2 root 3 times 2 root 3, 2 times 2 is 4, square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9, which simplifies to 3, and 4 times 3 is 12. So our r squared is 12. Example number 3 says find the center and the radius of the circle and then graph it. So remember, our standard form of our equation was x minus h, which in this case we don't have one, so we can put a 0, plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So if we set r squared equal to 49 and we take the square root, we know our radius is 7. The center we look for h, k. So the center of our circle is at 0, positive 3, and then we plot that information. So 0, 3, and then our radius is the distance from the center, so we can count 7 units to the right, 7 units to the left. We can count 7 units up, 7 units down. Connect your dots to form your circle, and you just graphed a circle. Example B says x plus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared. So our center is at -2, positive 4. If we set r squared equal to 12, take the square root, so we have r equals the square root of 12. When we simplify the square root of 12, we get the square root of 4 times the square root of 3, which is 2 square roots of 3 is our radius. So if we plot our center at -2, 4, 2 square roots of 3 is a little bit less than 4. It's 3 point something. So we count that out from our center, and you can type that in your calculator to get that decimal. Connect your dots, and you just graphed the circle. So the next example says write the equation in standard form, find the center and the radius. So we have an additional term right here. In order to write the equation in standard form, we need to complete the square in order to get our factors. So if you think back, we have x squared minus 10x plus box plus y squared equals 11 plus box. So in order to get this factor, we did b divided by 2. So in this box right here, we have b divided by 2. So negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. This box right here is b divided by 2 squared. So negative 5 times negative 5 gives us a 25. We have to add that to both sides of our equation in order to keep it balanced. So we get 36. So we have x minus 5 squared plus y plus 0 squared equals 36. So we can now tell that our center is at the ordered pair 5, 0, and our radius, remember r squared is 36, so our radius, after we take the square root of that, is 6. Example number 5, you can see this time our y has a linear term and our x has a linear term, so we need to complete the square on both of these. So we're going to have x squared plus 2x plus box. We are also going to have y squared plus 4y plus box. We need to move our 11 to the other side of our equation. So we have plus box. Underneath here we have our x squared, our quantity with y squared. In this blank right here, we have b divided by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is a positive 1. 4 divided by 2 is a positive 2. b divided by 2 squared, 1 squared is 1, so we need to add that to both of our boxes. 2 squared is 4. We combined our like terms, which gives us 16. We can now tell that the center of our circle is at -1, -2. Our r squared is 16. We take the square root of both sides, so our radius is at 4. Example number 6, write the equation in standard form, find the center and the radius. So our equation is a little mixed up. We need to make sure we get all of our x's next to each other, all of our y's next to each other, and our constants on the right-hand side. So if we add y squared, and if we subtract 7x, that will give us x squared minus 7x plus box. We have y squared minus 4y plus box. And our constant, we need to subtract, gives us -6 on the right-hand side of our problem. We need our 2 plus boxes. Underneath here you have your x quantity, your y quantity. So remember we have b divided by 2, so we have -7/2, which when we square -7/2, we get positive 49/4. We add that to both of our boxes. When we divide -4 by 2, we get -2. -2 squared, it's a little bit nicer, a positive 4. And then we need to combine our like terms. So in order to add or subtract fractions, you need a common denominator. So I can multiply all of these by 4 to get my common denominator, and I get -24/4 plus 49/4 plus 16/4, which combines to 41/4. So I'll go ahead and write that on the right-hand side of my equation. My center is at 7/2 positive 2. My r squared is 41/4, so when you take the square root of that, our radius is the square root of 41, square root of 4, which the square root of 4 simplifies to square root of 41/2.